Positive case results have no symptoms. Some that have symptoms overwhelmingly don't need hospitalization. So in your mind, take that word cases and throw it away and replace it with positive test result. That's what the media means when they're saying cases. The other thing that's very disturbing, I've heard from people all over the country, patients and doctors, that the amount of fraud going on is rampant. I didn't believe it the first, 10 times. I was very skeptical. I've heard this at least 20 or 30 times now about situations where patients are getting positive results, which is impossible. We know it's impossible because the patient signed up for the test but never actually got the test. So they'd sign up like at CVS, they'd go, but there's a long line. So they say, you know what, I'm not going to wait, I'm not going to do it. They go home, and then in a week they're notified they have a positive test result. I've had dozens of claims like that, dozens.
I've also heard people who got tested multiple times and tested positive, then tested positive again, maybe a few days later, and that counts as 2 cases into the same batch with everyone else.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked that. So patients are being tested multiple times. By the way, the amount of testing that's going on is huge, right? Because patients are just showing up and wanting it. But for example, everyone who comes into the hospital is tested. Patients in the hospital get tested multiple times. If you get tested multiple times, that counts. Every time you take the test, that's another positive result. So I personally had situations, a person's had 4 positive tests. And, in Texas, I know because I have a colleague in Texas, and the way they report the positive results in Texas is so bizarre. There's a blood test, and it's the IgM or the IgG. One of them really means longer-term immunity. It's not really a positive result. It actually means you've recovered. They're counting that as positive. They're also counting if one person in a family or a group of 15 is positive, and anybody else in that group had any kind of symptoms, that person's considered positive without a test. I mean, it is just crazy how they're using the numbers.